detective served my ass. Wouldn't have enough without the badge. At your discretion, you harass. Where did you earn the nerve to ask why we clash? The system's so twisted. The wicked play victim. Justify homicide, never cry when the police die. My rights neglected when arrested. Judge guilty without a confession. No question they pressing. Your fake truths in the news is not impressive. On the street when we meet, you still oppressive. No justice, no peace. Fuck a peace treaty with the beast. Yeah. Fuck a peace treaty with the police. Fuck a peace treaty with the police. Fuck a peace treaty with the police. No justice, no peace. When will the killing cease? Fuck a peace treaty with the
top of the morning. That goes for the evening and afternoon too. Hopefully you're getting all you feel you deserve in your day-to-day or your night. You know what I'm saying? However you parlaying at the moment. You feel me? But I just had a what if scenario for you. You know what I'm saying? What if in this society, right? Every police officer, it was mandatory for them to be a woman. Think about this. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that crime will go down? As far as police brutality, do you think the inequality and the unfair treatment will go down? Do you feel like the cop killings would go down? If it was mandatory that it was only women could be in those positions, you know? Because think of every police brutality case throughout history up until this day. Think of every police killing that occurred throughout history up until this day. Was the situation involving a male officer or a woman officer? You know what I'm saying? You could talk about specific or think about specific cases in your mind that occurred. You can go to statistics. And I know some people will bring up the one where that female cop went in the dude's apartment and killed him dead in his own apartment. That's a rare case. But look at where she's from, where she was at, how she's been conditioned to believe she should proceed in society. All that plays a part. But I feel as though at the core of I was watching a clip the other day. They want fairness. They want justice. It was a potential police brutality situation. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like had it been a man in the position of the woman officer, it would have got either fatal, physical, whatever the case. But the dude was frustrated because his wife, called on him to get his kids back, and they was having like a dispute. But it was like a custody situation. So when the female officer approached the situation, dude was belligerent. He was snapping, spazzing out, and she kept cool. She was like, hey, I understand that. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this for the sake of the kids. She kept it real cool, kept it real player, you know what I'm saying? Whereas had it been a dude, the ego would have started talking to him. You know what I'm saying? He would have got incensed. He would have got crazy. And he would have flipped out, you feel me? And then that right there got me to thinking like, yo, if this society made it mandatory that only women can be police officers, I feel like a lot of the police brutality situations would go down. Because it's not like women will be unprotected. They'll still have the badge, you know what I'm saying? They'll still have the gun, they'll still have the mace, they'll still have everything that officers carry now. It's just that the mentality of the person approaching a situation, you know what I'm saying? It won't, I feel like a woman naturally won't come in hostility unless you give her a reason to be hostile, you know? But naturally, she wants to come to understand. So why wouldn't you bestow the responsibility of one who is more inclined to understand? Why wouldn't you bestow that position upon a person such as that? Why would you put a position like that in the hands of those who have proven, you know what I'm saying, that they operate not only according to their discretion and their bias, but their prejudice. You know what I'm saying? Their ill intent. You get me? Why would that continue to be the case? But we've traveled so far down this road now, it's just like common now, you know? The victims continue to be victimized, and then we complain about it, and then the victimization continues. It just became a regularity, you know? All that defunding the police, that's cool. Holding people accountable in the court of law, if you can get justice that way, if you feel that way, that's cool. But I feel like an overall reformation is necessary. However you want to, you know, chop that up or break it down. Reformation is a good, you know what I'm saying, a good word to put there. But however you want to cut it, I feel like it needs to change, to be flipped upside down all the way around. We need to do a new way of doing things. So the reason I asked you that, how do you think things would be different, you know? Of course, there are exceptions to the rule. No rule is absolute in life, you know? I'm not saying every woman has the willingness to want to understand in every situation, whether hostile or otherwise, you know? But that being said, if we're looking at, like they do, if we look at statistically, again, how many police brutality situations involved a male officer and a citizen? You know what I'm saying? Or a human being, another a person, a civilian, a person not on the force. You feel me? How many incidents occurred fatally? You know what I'm saying? Between a male officer and a civilian. Now, on the flip side, how many women officers have murdered or been involved in police brutality situations? You know? I mean, it's something to think about. It's a what if scenario. You might not agree with that. You might be like, man, what? You know what I'm saying? Some people might not feel safe for whatever reason because the gun is an equalizer. You feel me? Whoever possesses the gun has the power in this country. You know what I'm saying? If you have I'm talking about in instances like situations. You know what I'm saying? When the police are dispatched to a situation, they come in with the power because they have the firearm. You know what I'm saying? Unless they come into a situation where guns are already blazing and they're shooting already. Now that's different. That's a war scenario. You feel me? That's different. But I'm talking about when they're dispatched to a situation where warfare isn't taking place. They come in with the power because they have the weapon. You feel what I'm telling you? So it's not like the woman won't come in with a sense of power, but it's all about how that power is used. You know what I'm saying? Is that power being wielded, you know what I'm saying, from a place of fragility when it comes to ego or pride? Is it being wielded in the vein of understanding, wanting to understand? You feel me? A position such as that boils down to police officer, it's about authority. They feel as though they're acting on behalf of the law. Some would even say they are the law, which cannot be further from the truth, but some believe that. And with that badge, what can you tell them? When they pull up on you and stop you and do things like that, what can you say contrary to what they're telling you? You know what I'm saying? Without it going bad. So I'm saying that to say, that's an abuse of authority. So that authority should be placed in the hands of those who won't abuse it or who are less likely to abuse it. You get me? Because from what I've experienced in my lifetime, anytime, like very recently, I had a few Zoom meetings, right? It seems like more times than not, if there's a woman initiating or is the host of that Zoom meeting and she's running things, it's more, she wants to make it more of a safe place. She's more expressive in her explaining her aim in the meeting. You know what I'm saying? She's more transparent. She wants you to understand. She wants you to feel willing to express, okay to express, comfortable to express. You know what I'm saying? Whereas with men, not saying that that is not there, but less so. Meaning, what we're here for is what we're here for. Okay, let's just go ahead and get through it. Yeah, boom, 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 da da da. You know what I'm saying? More authoritative, which is there's a time and place for all things. That being said, me noticing that difference, thinking, you know what I'm saying, about the authority of the police officers now in this current time and day in this society, that's a position of authority. If you disagree, I don't see why you would, but feel free to. But honestly speaking, if you think about it, that's a place of authority. So why is that authority in the hands of those who have proven throughout history in this country that they'll abuse it? You know why that is? Because I feel as though the police is a paramilitary force. You know what I'm saying? They're a militia in a sense. They're funded by the government or states. You know what I'm saying? As a legitimate militia. You feel what I'm telling you? That being said, if you arm the women, do you get me? And women being more inclined to seek justice, to want things to be fair, you get what I'm telling you? You have now armed an element of your population who will not stand for injustice, potentially. Of course, there'll be some rotten seeds and bad apples, women who have been conditioned to believe that the status quo or conventional wisdom is the way to live. That's a reality. You know what I'm saying? You can't get around that. But I guarantee you that blue wall of silence, that blue, you know what I'm saying? It will be toppled because there'll be more so women who won't stand for that. Depending on what state you're in too, because some states are so um so far gone as far as the ideals of the people in those states that it won't matter if it's man or woman in those positions. You feel me? It's all gonna go south regardless. But I'm talking about in an optimistic, idealistic way, statistically. You know what I'm saying? Um, Imagine how things would be. You feel me? Do you agree when I say that things, might calm down a little bit as far as the brutality, the killings, because it's still going on, man. I just saw a story the other day, if not this morning, it might have been this morning. I'm losing track of my days a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Steady moving, steady maintaining, but it might have been today or yesterday. Man, these officers shot this brother in the back. He trying to get in the car on the passenger side. Where is he gonna go on the passenger side? You get what I'm telling you? And they just like bust like point blank in the back. No weapon. The brother had no weapon. You see what I'm saying? And it's like shame. They're doing it shamelessly. Of course, it was male officers. You feel me? And then when it gets to that point, the way that the culture is now, as far as the police officers are concerned, it's the blue wall of silence, the blue shield of silence. So everybody got to band together. And I saw a female officer in this clip. Her body language let me know that she felt like something wasn't right. This is not cool. But because of how the culture is right now and police forces all around the country, she had to just go along with what was going on. She had to keep it solid. That solidarity is a good trait when channeled properly. You feel me? When it's not at the detriment or to the detriment of another group or another person. Solidarity is very important. But why is this solidarity directly affecting our ability to stand? You know what I'm saying? To build, to grow, to live. You get me? Why is that? And everybody that's for officers, you know what I'm saying? Blue Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff. Do you ever take into account the victims of these blue lives? Do you ever? And if you do, how do you feel as though justice can be had from those being victimized? You know what I'm saying? How do you feel like the victims will be able to see justice? Do you feel like changing the whole system and the way things are operating is the way? And if you say no, cool. What do you say? What's your solution? Because the way things are now can't stay. It can't remain this way. So I'm saying that to say, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to put that scenario to you just to see where your mind was at about that. Because just like I said, the gun is a great equalizer. In the proper hands, you know what I'm saying? It could bring peace. In the wrong hand, it will perpetuate war. Unnecessary war, you know? Because there's a time and place for all things. It's a time to go to war on behalf of peace. But if you go into war because you're just opposed to those who you've made war against, just for no reason, okay, what's the justice in that? Do you get me? Because there's no justice being had if it's not returned. If you're at war with somebody, right, and your enemy first doesn't know that they're at war with you, and then two, they're not able to defend themselves in that war. They're not able to shoot back when you shoot at them. They're not able to, you know what I'm saying, swarm your ranks, your flank like that. You know what I'm saying? Flank you from the left, flank you from. They don't have no kind of maneuvers, no strategy. They haven't planned or organized, but you're still going to war with that people, that person. What's the point of war? What's the point of the war? To me, war is to settle conflict. It's politics, you know what I'm saying, with bloodshed. You know what I'm saying? What's the purpose of politics? Do you get me? To ascertain, to obtain, to maintain, you know what I'm saying? And gain based on your campaign. That's politics. Do you get what I'm telling you? So what I'm saying is, if war is politics with bloodshed, and you recognize your enemy is not fighting back, your enemy has no qualms with you, why are you going to war with that people? Authority, abused authority. That's the only explanation I could see, unless you see it different. And if you do, feel free and let me know, because I don't see it no different. That's the only explanation, man. It's abused authority. You know what I'm saying? Confused authority. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about superiority complex, inferiority complex, that has to be perpetuated. It has to be promoted. It has to be propagated, sensationalized. Everybody has to pick their spots, which means within that dynamic, somebody has to be have the superiority complex, and somebody has to choose to have the inferiority complex. And the choice is made over time. At first, it's forced upon you, and then over time, you just accept it. And once you accept it, you're now choosing it. You get what I'm telling you? So I'm saying that to say, it's abused authority. And then those who believe they're superior, you know what I'm saying, are abusing those who are in the inferior position by way of lack of necessity, by way of lack of armament, lack of unity, lack of organization, lack of all these things. So why make war against that people? What's the justice in that? Justice is give and take. So again, you feel what I'm telling you? I think things would be totally different if they made it mandatory in this country that only women are able to be police officers. You see what I'm saying? That would rub a lot of people the wrong way. I already know. A lot of people would be opposed to that. But I feel as though we should, and instead of calling them police officers, I think we should call them like peace officers. You know what I'm saying? Officers of peace. You get me? Because I feel as though women are the key to peace. You feel me? If that feminine energy is properly cultivated and nurtured and encouraged, you know what I'm saying? And acknowledged, you feel me? Women could be the key to peace. Again, that's not an absolute. There are exceptions to that rule, but that's in my mind. And then therefore, if that's the case, women could be the key to peace. To me, men represent war. Why do I say that? Think back in history. Every war that was sparked, you know what I'm saying? Who shed the first blood? Who, you know what I'm saying, threw the first spear? You know what I'm saying? Who shot the first shot? You get what I'm telling you? Who organized the plot to besiege the enemy? You get what I'm telling you? Men. Now, that's not to say among your tribe there cannot be solidarity. Do you feel me? But amongst your tribe, there are going to be those who oppose the mentality, you know what I'm saying, in the way that tribe operates. Therein lies the conflict. You feel me? Therein leads to war. The height of war, casualties, bloodshed. You feel me? It's a man's nature. So I'm saying this to say, that being the case, and you felt what I said earlier about the police being nothing but a paramilitary force, the police being a militia in this country, whether you want to say unofficially, officially, however you want to say it, you feel me? Yet and still it's a militia. Why would you not, if you really are an advocate for equality, for peace, for solidarity within this nation, which I don't believe they are, but just for the sake of conversation, if they're really for that, why wouldn't they put or allow the responsibility to lie with those who have proven amongst this society that they're more inclined for peace or more inclined to promote peace and to gain understanding? Because think about this, man. Every time a police officer is dispatched to a situation, whether somebody calls for a wellness check, somebody calls for domestic dispute, somebody calls being petty, however the police get to a situation, if the police officer comes in hostility, the situation is gonna go bad automatically. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, if they come seeking to understand, it'll go a totally different way. So what I'm saying is, a person in that position has to be able to have the ability to be humble. Humility not being weak, but understanding that I got the authority, I got the power, I don't got nothing to prove. I'm coming to try to get an understanding of the situation, to remedy the remedy the situation, you feel me? You can't do that without understanding. Do you get me? So by some divine design that it does play out the way I'm saying right now, and women become the only people that can occupy that role as police or peace officers, that's what we should call them, peace officer. You feel me? Go, whoever is the head, kind of like Charlie's Angel, you know what I'm saying? Charlie's Angels. You get me? Not to, y'all probably gonna take that wrong, but just imagine a scenario like Charlie's Angels, you feel me? And these women being peace officers, you feel me? And Bosley, you feel me, would send the women out, telling them, yo, entreat for peace, you know what I'm saying? See about the peace. Go to understand and only pull the weapon if necessary. You feel me? Don't go over there tripping. Don't go over there with the wildness, you know? You got the power. You going with the pistol. You going with the gun. You feel me? You good. You see? And if they go with that mentality, I feel as though the police killings would go down, the police brutality would go down, because this country has a false idea of who is deserving of authority. Why? Because this country has been misogynistic for so long. I don't feel as though they trust women with that much authority, that much power. I don't believe. You see, if I feel like it'll work with the police forces, I also believe it'll work with the judge. In some cases, not in every case. You know what I'm saying? But in some cases, you get me? Maybe I shouldn't take it to that level. Let's just stick with the police. But yeah, definitely. If it was mandatory that only women can occupy that role, I guarantee, like I said, the brutality will go down. Because they're too comfortable right now. All that will go down. That whether you're armed, unarmed, more times than not, we're unarmed. They believe it's okay to just shoot you down, and they know they're not going to get any consequences for that action. Whether by us, the people in the streets, the courts, their supervisors, they know they're going to escape free. They could murder one of us and just live their daily life. Like dude that killed Trayvon. You feel me? He just lived his daily life. He did a service for his country, for his people. I mean, I have a different idea of how we can handle that situation, but I'm not gonna say that here on YouTube. But something definitely has to be done, and I just wanted to, run that by you, see what you thought about that, and tell me if I'm tripping. You get what I'm telling you? Tell me if I'm tripping. I feel like that'd be a good move to make. Will it ever happen? Probably not. It might not. You see what I'm saying? It might not. And yeah, I don't understand how this country has been able to have sympathy for victimizers. You know what I'm saying? Those who carry out brutal acts against helpless people. How are you finding ways to have sympathy for, whether that's in the court, public perception, in the media, in your household? How are you finding ways to have sympathy for the person that's doing wrong? It's just like what Malcolm said. You know what I'm saying? The media can make you, you know what I'm saying, believe that the wicked is innocent and the innocent is wicked. They'll flip your perception upside down. Make you believe the wicked is righteous and the righteous is wicked. You see what I'm telling you? But hey, I ain't complaining. You know what I'm saying? I'm just observing, how things are now, and just wanted to run that scenario by you. But hey, it is what it is at the moment. What can we do other than what we're doing now? You know what I'm saying? We're in a position right now as a whole to only do what we can. None of us can really do what we want. And some people are okay with doing what they can. You know what I'm saying? There's like a cap on what they can do. And they're cool with that because it's gaining them their revenue. And that's how they're making a living. So why would they want things to change from how they are now? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with complaining. It ain't whining if you observe and point out, you know what I'm saying, what you're observing. If you express what you're observing. It's only complaining or whining, you know what I'm saying, if you're coming from a victimized place and then you're expressing it in a sense of hopelessness, and you're expressing it in a sense of wanting sympathy and, you know what I'm saying, helplessness, and, you know what I'm saying, babies whine. You get what I'm saying? Men who are fed up with the system, you know what I'm saying, we're disgruntled. We don't whine. If you want to call it whining, that's on you. But we just pointing out what the obvious is. You get me? Now I do believe in that you should be speaking on solutions as well. Maybe not in the public eye, but amongst those who are listening to your complaints about society. There should be some solutions wrapped up in those complaints as well, you know? But I don't see nothing wrong with complaining about the reality, especially if the reality is not in your favor. Especially if the reality is against you. Why wouldn't you? Why would you be quiet? You feel me? Back our ancestors back in the days. You get me? You don't think Nat Turner complained before he snapped off and did what he did? You see what I'm saying? You don't think Harriet was complaining before she did what she did? You see what I'm saying? Were they whining? No, I don't believe. Because whining, you don't intend to change anything. You just want to cry. You want to whine about the circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Every time I think about whining, I think about the face like this. Yeah, but you ain't even like that kind of. That's whining to me. You feel what I'm saying? Why you ain't even think about even trying to I don't like whining. You know what I'm saying? But if I be like, man, I don't like how they, keep murdering us in the streets, man. I'm sick of this, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, none of mine better go through that because you know what I'm saying? Complaining about the situation, there's nothing wrong with that. Venting about the situation, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that in my mind. You might disagree. You might feel like that doesn't solve anything, and you're well within your rights to believe that. But to me, if you don't vocalize or express what irks you, then you'll be more inclined, one, never to find allies who might feel the same way, but then two, you begin to accept it. You know what I'm saying? That voice inside that you never expressed is going to get lower and lower because it's going to happen over and over again, as we're seeing. They just did this brother Greasy the other day. If not today, yesterday. I seen it one of these days, you know? They just now shot this brother in the back for no reason, like currently. So it's going to happen and occur again. God forbid. I'm not manifesting that, but it's the reality. It's how society is. And they're going to sensationalize it and blow it up. But imagine the stories they're not reporting. Imagine the things that's going on that nobody ever see. I saw this one clip, you know what I'm saying? It was a brother, man, he was waiting on his ride to come. I guess his homeboys was coming. You feel what I'm saying? And before his homeboys came, the police pulled up on him and asked him what he doing and then tried to say he was trespassing. So then, now this police officer, male, you know what I'm saying, was stocky, big. This brother was slim like me. And on top of him, the dude being big, like a meathead, he had weapons. So the brother couldn't do nothing. So he tried to stand up for himself. The officer, of course, using force. With multiple officers watching, males, you know what I'm saying, pushing him around until finally they got the cuffs on him. And the brother still, going at it with the mouth, letting him have it. Standing around, the bystanders shared the same flesh as the officer doing the man dirt. So nobody was really invested in that brother's safety. Why this brother was out there alone like that, I don't know. And this is where the clip got weird for me. They were arresting him for, get this, assaulting an officer. He was in cuffs majority of the video, right? He was being arrested for assaulting an officer. That's the charge that they're gonna put on him when he gets the booking. That's what he's being charged with. Do you get me? You see what I'm saying? One dude that was out there recording who shared the flesh of the officer said that he was a lawyer. You get what I'm saying? That being said, which sounded sarcastic when he said it, personally, me observing the clip. When his friend finally pulled up, you know what I'm saying? All this was on video. The friend was like, hey, what are you doing? You can tell by the voice of the friend that he also shared the flesh of the officer doing his dirt. You know what I'm saying? The officer asked the kid point blank, do you want to go too? The kid was like, you're not taking me. And he had the boldness to say that because he knew the officer wasn't going to encroach on his rights. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to just cuff him up and do him bad like the brother, So he was like, "You're not finna take me," and he was chirping at the officer too. So in the meantime, the brother, I guess he felt camaraderie with the homeboy that finally came, and then he started chirping at the officer. You get what I'm saying? Then it got rough for him. They start roughing him up again. From in the instant, they threw him in the car, and in the video went that was it. I've heard nothing about this brother, what happened to him, no mug shots. Cause I looked into it, I was like, what the heck? What was that all about? What happened to the lawyer that was out there? Did somebody get the man out? And that's what's going on. They're kidnapping us. They're kidnapping people, man. Putting bogus charges on you, throwing you in the car with cuffs. And most of us have accepted that authority figure to the point where anything they say that they're detaining you for, you just go with it. And what can you do if they got armament? If they got weapons? You have to go. It's kidnapping. And that's what they did. They kidnapped that brother. Do I feel like a woman officer, peace officer would have did the same? Nah, I feel like she would have tried to understand. You know what I'm saying? That's woman of any culture. I see this trait in women of all cultures. You know what I'm saying? Those of mine, of the tribe, of like kind, and otherwise. I feel like it's an innate trait, which I feel like will make them great in that position. But again, that was just a scenario. That's all I got for the moment. Just something to put on your mind for the second. I appreciate you if you stuck around and hear me out. Yeah, man. Observe, pay attention. Don't feel bad if you complain. Don't whine, though. You know what I'm saying? And it's all love. Enjoy your night. Hopefully you get everything you feel like you deserve. Fight for your rights. And yeah, have a blessed one.
Why cater to snakes in their desire to infiltrate what we create? Breaking news like when the ground breaks from earthquakes, not knowing the time they decide to strike and defect. I'm tested as I await the date. They baking Hell's Lake. No other fate was fit for God to initiate. For fakes and those who imitate and perpetrate, day to day, you make it hard not to hate. Forgive me for the animosity that may have crossed my brain. I can't see the possibility of peace, lost in the land of the deranged. Theories of the foul is loud like practice rounds at the gun range. To entertain their ways is to go astray, and to stay far away is to experience pain. I'm trained to live strained and maintain in the hopes I gain. Simple and plain, that's all I'm saying. In case you ain't know, forever go mode.